Discipline feels hard for a reason, and that reason is exactly why most people will never have it. Because discipline is not designed to be comfortable. It is designed to separate those who act from those who only think about acting. And if you've ever tried to build discipline, you already know this feeling. The resistance, the weight, the internal battle every time you try to do something you don't feel like doing. Waking up early, training when you're tired, focusing when your mind wants distraction. It feels unnatural, almost like something is pulling you back. And that's because something is. Your old self, your habits, your comfort, your brain trying to protect you from effort, from pain, from change. Because your brain is not built for growth. It is built for survival. And survival means conserving energy, avoiding risk, staying in what is familiar, even if that familiarity is keeping you weak. Most people misinterpret this resistance. They think that because it feels hard, it must be wrong. They think discipline should feel smooth, natural, even motivating. But that is the biggest mistake you can make. Because the difficulty is not a sign to stop. It is a sign that you are doing exactly what you need to do. Every time you feel resistance, you are standing at the edge of growth. And what you do in that moment determines everything. You either step forward and evolve, or you step back and remain the same. The truth is, your current life is built on patterns, repeated behaviors that have become automatic over time. And those patterns are comfortable, predictable, easy, even if they are destroying your potential. And when you try to introduce discipline, you are not just adding a new habit. You are attacking an entire system that has been running your life for years. And that system will fight back. It will create excuses. It will amplify discomfort. It will make everything feel harder than it actually is. Not because it's impossible, but because it's unfamiliar. And the human mind always resists what is unfamiliar. This is why discipline feels so heavy in the beginning. Because you are carrying the weight of your old identity while trying to build a new one. You are fighting against years of conditioning, against habits that have been reinforced daily, and that is not supposed to feel easy. But here is where most people fail. They interpret that difficulty as a reason to quit, tell themselves they are not ready, not capable, not motivated enough, when in reality, they are exactly where they need to be, in the struggle, in the resistance, in the process of breaking what they used to be. And this is why discipline being hard is actually a good thing. Because if it were easy, everyone would have it. If it required no effort, no resistance, no sacrifice, then it would have no value. But the difficulty is what gives it power. Because every time you act despite not feeling like it, you are doing something rare, something most people avoid. And that action compounds. It builds momentum, it builds confidence, it builds identity. Not the identity of someone who wants to change, but someone who is changing. Think about it. Every time you choose discipline over comfort, you are proving something to yourself. You are reinforcing a new standard. You are telling your mind that you are in control. Not your emotions, not your impulses, not your temporary feelings. And that shift is everything. Because once you realize that you can act without feeling like it, you remove the biggest obstacle that stops most people, the need to feel ready. Discipline also feels hard because it requires consistency, not intensity, and consistency is where most people break. Anyone can push hard for a day, a week, even a month, but repeating the same actions daily, without immediate results, without recognition, without external validation, that is where discipline becomes real. And that is where it becomes rare. Because it forces you to rely on internal standards instead of external rewards. It forces you to keep going when nothing is pushing you except your own decision. And this is the part nobody talks about. Discipline is lonely. It is quiet. It is repetitive. There are no constant highs, no constant motivation, just action, over and over again. And that is why most people quit. Not because they can't do it, but because they don't want to live that way. They don't want to face the boredom, the repetition, the discomfort. But those who accept it, those who embrace it, those who understand that this is the process, are the ones who transform. Because over time, something changes. The same actions that once felt impossible start to feel normal. The resistance weakens, the habits become automatic, and discipline stops being something you force. It becomes something you are. And that is the goal. Not to rely on motivation, not to chase temporary bursts of energy, but to build a system so strong that you continue regardless of how you feel. So if discipline feels hard right now, understand this clearly. That is not a sign to stop. It is a sign that you are on the right path. It is proof that you are stepping outside of your old patterns, that you are challenging your limits, that you are doing something most people avoid. And that is exactly why it matters. Because in the end, discipline is not about doing what is easy. It is about doing what is necessary, even when it is uncomfortable, especially when it is uncomfortable. And those who understand this, those who stop running from difficulty and start embracing it, become something different, something stronger, something rare. And once you reach that point, once you build that level of control, there is nothing left that can stop you. Because the hardest battle was never external. It was always within. And discipline is how you win it.